If you feel constantly exhausted, flat, or like you're running on empty, no matter how much sleep you get, it might be that your body is stuck in stress and nobody has taught you how to get out. I read Burnout by Emily and Amelia Nagoski recently, and it's given me a much deeper understanding of what's been happening in my body for years. This is what I took from it. Many of us who end up burnt out have the same profile. We were the high achievers, good at school, good at work. We hit our goals, we pushed through, and we were proud of our ability to keep going. And then one day you realize you've been running on empty for so long, you've forgotten what it's even like to have energy. Not just the tired after a long day energy, but the deeper kind, where you wake up tired and even resting doesn't help. That was me, and I kept telling myself that it was just a busy period, or that I needed a holiday, or that I'll feel better once I got through this next thing. But it never really went away. And when I read this book, I finally understood why. Burnout is not just about stress itself, it's about completing the stress cycle. When your body experiences stress, it triggers a biological response. Your nervous system kicks in, hormones flood your system, your body gears up to deal with a threat. But here's the problem. In modern life, the threat isn't a lion that you run away from. It could be a passive-aggressive email, a difficult manager, a deadline, financial pressure. The stress response fires, but nothing in your environment tells your body that the stress is over. So the stress stays. You may finish the workday, close the laptop, walk out the office, but your mind keeps replaying the scenario, preparing for when you go back to work the next day. And when you get home, your body doesn't know that the threat is no longer there. It's still in it, and the stress cycle is still open. You then go about making your dinner, doing the laundry, ticking all those other tasks off your to-do list, adding the stress at home on top of the stress at work, repeating this day in, day out. And when you keep piling more stress on top of stress that's never been released, eventually your system shuts down. That's what burnout is. Not a mindset failure, a biological response to sustained incomplete stress that hasn't been released. These are the lessons I learned from Emily and Amelia. 1. You can't think your way out of burnout. As someone who overanalyzes everything, thinking my way through things was basically my whole identity. I would journal about feeling burned out, analyze it, write lists, try to figure out the root cause. And even if I managed to fix that one stressor, the issue was I hadn't been able to release that tension. So when the next stressor came along, it added more on top of the tension my body was already feeling. The heaviness would be back, and possibly even worse. What I was missing is that stress is not just a thought that you can let go of. It lives in your body, and the way to complete the stress cycle is to do something physical. Movement is one of the most effective ways. A 20 or 30 minute walk, going to the gym, even jumping up and down and shaking your arms. Your body needs a signal that the threat has passed, and it can lower the cortisol, release the tension, and stop your heart from beating so fast. Movement is one of the clearest signals it understands. I now take a walk after work most days, not listening to a podcast or talking to anyone, a gentle stroll to let my nervous system recover. It sounds almost too simple, but most of us commute back home and jump straight into preparing dinner, the next task, before completing the stress cycle. And this means we accumulate the stress and the tension in the body. Number 2, rest is not a reward. I used to treat rest as something I had to earn. I felt guilty for stopping, and I would rest when I'd done enough, when the to-do list was cleared, or when I deserved it. The problem is, the list is never cleared, and you never feel like you've done enough. So you never properly rest. But rest is not optional, it's biological repair. Your body is not designed to be in output mode constantly. Recovery is not a luxury, it's a necessary part of the process. When I read this, it shifted how I thought about rest. It stopped feeling like laziness and started feeling like maintenance. You wouldn't run a car without ever stopping to refuel it or get it serviced. So what makes us think that our bodies don't need this too? 3. The system might be part of the problem. The book talks about how burnout disproportionately affects women. Not because women are weaker or less capable, but because women are often operating in systems that expect more from them, reward them for less, and give them far less structural support. You're managing the household workload and the emotional labour, the professional performance and the social maintenance, the career expectations and often the domestic ones too. And when you burn out, the default response is you question yourself. What am I doing wrong? Why can't I cope? What's wrong with me? But the honest answer is there's nothing wrong with you. You are responding normally to an environment that's asking for too much. I've seen women carry all of these responses on their own, not asking for help, but you're struggling under a weight that was never designed to be carried alone. 4. Connection regulates you. I'm someone who tends to withdraw when things get hard. I go quiet, I figure I'll deal with it and then show up again once I feel better. And this book challenged that pretty directly. Connection isn't just emotionally nice to have, it's physiologically regulating. We are social animals, especially women, and our nervous systems are built to co-regulate with the people around us. When you're with people who feel safe, your nervous system settles. I started noticing it when I worked in an incredibly toxic workplace. After spending the afternoon with a colleague I trusted, I felt so much lighter. Not because anything had changed, but because I had released the stress and my nervous system had regulated with hers. Isolation when you're burning out makes it worse. Not because you're weak, but because you're going against your biology, trying to regulate alone when we're not designed to regulate alone. What am I doing differently now? In practice, here's what's changed. I walk after work most days, even 20 minutes. It's the single most consistent thing I do, and I feel a huge difference if I skip it. I stopped treating evenings as time to cram in more productivity. Low stimulation in the evenings has been something that I try to protect. If I want to get something done, I wake up earlier when I have renewed, fresh, positive energy. I started prioritizing connections with women who inspire me and I trust, helping me feel regulated. Not the people I feel obligated to see, but the ones where I come away feeling lighter and more like myself. And the biggest shift for me has been how I think about rest. I don't need to earn it anymore. I take it because I know that my body needs it. And having burnt out before, there's no point waiting until I'm struggling to do this. The biggest thing I want you to take away from this book is that burnout is not evidence that you're weak or you can't cope or that you're not cut out for the life that you're trying to build. Burnout is a signal, your body telling you that something in the system needs to change. And the way out isn't pushing harder, it's learning to let go of the stress that you're already carrying. Let me know in the comments if this resonates or anything else you want to know about burnout. I'll be making more videos on this topic soon, so subscribe and hit the bell so you don't miss these. And if you've been feeling exhausted in a way that sleep isn't fixing, I recently made a video about the 7 types of rest that you need. I've linked it here.